Final of the men's pairs, Australia, well, they were the winners in 2003 and, of course, in Athens at the Olympic Games. New Zealand, though, took the title last year in Gifu. Well, against Australia and New Zealand, Germany in lane 1, Urban and Penkner. And here in 2, Zhang and Wang for China, both of these men from Shandong. And here are the defending champions. George Bridgewater in the stroke seat from the Carnarvon Rowing Club, Nathan Twaddle from Auckland, and Duncan Free in the stroke seat for Australia with Drew Ginn in the bow. For Great Britain, Colin Smith and Tom James, Oxford and Cambridge represented in this boat, and completing the lineup closest to Kevin Light from Vancouver, Malcolm Howard in the stroke seat from Victoria. Well, so far, New Zealand a gold and a silver. I wonder whether this partnership can regain winning ways for New Zealand.
Yeah, and again, another very, very tasty field for this event. With the world champions, you've got this fantastic Australian combination who have gone off with a real sense of purpose. And then this new exciting pair from China too, who have really begun to set the world alight. And I guess they're going to get faster in years to come. What a first 250 from them.
Yeah, well, the evidence, if we look straight at the statistics, suggests that they're in certainly with a squeak of the bronze medal, given that the Australians and the New Zealanders row to maximum. But they are impressive and they're aggressive.
Yeah, they're very aggressive, and it's interesting the impact that their coach, Igor Grinko, one of the old Soviet coaches who's gone across to China, runs the men's program there now, has had. But very, very dynamic. They're quite an upright style at the finish of the stroke. There's no lean back at all, but it's a very smooth and clean takeaway and very pacey, because Drew Ginn and Duncan Free don't hang around at all.
Well, what about this Australian partnership? You've got Duncan Free there. Well, he's won so much, hasn't he? He's won Henley Royal Regatta, he's won the Head of the Charles, he's won the President's Cup, goodness knows how many times. And then you've got Drew Ginn, of course, who, with James Tomkins, took the Olympic title in 2004. Is this another partnership made in heaven?
Yeah, well, it's a partnership made in heaven, but it's a convenience partnership for the Australians, because these guys both live in completely different parts of Australia. They don't fit into their system. So Drew Ginn trains down in Melbourne, and Duncan Free's up in the Gold Coast. And they just rode together on training camps, and the Australian selector said, well, you guys try and go and make a pair go. And look what's happened. I mean, they're out in front, and these guys will have winning gold here on their mind, and then probably getting into some boat for the Beijing Olympics.
So China being pegged back by Australia, New Zealand in third place. Here in lane 5, the British, Colin Smith and Tom James, two youngsters really, only 22 each of them.
Yeah, another sort of convenience pair. I mean, both of them, one from Cambridge, one from Oxford, they didn't fit into the national system, so the coach Jürgen Grobler said, well, you go off in a pair, see if it works. Sensational result in Lucerne, nearly beating the world champions, just failing in the last 3 or 4 strokes, and they've been very fast here after recovering from illness. But again, another major contender from the British pair, I would think.
And the Canadians on the near side, Kevin Light and Malcolm Howard, also not that far away. Not the quickest start from the Canadians, but they're still in contention, although they're going to have to move pretty soon to close the deficit. But it is Duncan Free in the foreground, Drew Ginn, and opening up to something like a length. So after that dynamite start by the Chinese, who opened up in 1:30.88, here we've got Australia, and they've got that length of clear water with New Zealand and Germany on the far side, also very much on the premises.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as good as New Zealand are and world champions, all credit to them, there is no way they're going to get back this margin at 1,000 metres. I mean, the Australians are a class act. They won fantastically in Poznan. I think they've got exactly what it takes to get over this water cleanly. Duncan Free, the experience of a sculler in the stroke seat, and that is an awesome lead to have had at this stage of the race. Are this pair better than the Drew Ginn and Jimmy Tomkins pair? Because these sort of questions are going to be asked now with a performance like this.
Well, there is a rumour that Jimmy Tomkins is thinking of coming back.
Yeah, a rumour he's thinking of coming back and hopefully racing the best British boat, which he feels he was cheated out of in the Athens Olympics when Pinsent and Cracknell moved from the pair to the 4.
Did you say the best British boat?
Well, I think that's what they want to race. I think they want to make the point in the 2008 Olympics. But the Germans coming with a real sprint there, and the New Zealanders yet to make an impact. They rode quite an upright style, these New Zealanders, David. They kind of almost look a bit short, but they're very, very punchy, very, very powerful. And if they get it right, then they can get a lot of momentum in their boat in the second half. But I'd like to see them maybe stretch out a bit.
This is a promising performance from the two Germans, again in their early 20s from Dortmund. These two men who came out of the 8 from last year, which got a bronze medal, and they were third in Poznan, third in Lucerne. So it's not been a bad season for them, and they are really in contention.
Yeah, and again, this is a class field to be in, because I think this Australian pair, the times they're posting down the course, 1:30 for the first 500 metres and 4:42. I mean, again, that's on and around world record pace, but it's a huge margin to have at this stage of the race, David.
Yeah, the Chinese, I'm afraid, are feeling the heat. The Canadians have only moved up one place at the moment, and New Zealand have got an awful lot of work to do at the moment. Australia and New Zealand and Germany, those are the three who look most likely to take the medals. But these two men, the further they go, the better they look.
Absolutely. You've got two contrasting styles. The Germans rowing a longer stroke length, the New Zealanders sitting up and being more punchy, and they're being very aggressive there, aren't they? Look at George Bridgewater punch it, and in the bow seat you've got that wind resistance. I'm not really sure of the purpose of that, of whether that's going to help in the tailwind, but certainly they're driving themselves on through to a silver medal.
And they've just got the better of the argument now, moving into silver, but it's Australia at the moment all the way. And I can tell you the other move that we need to note on now are the Canadians, who are beginning to move up a little bit. They've got an awful lot of ground to make up on Germany, but Germany, and you can see there the bow of China, but out of picture the Canadians are moving forward, and the director doesn't seem to have picked them up at all. The Australians still very much in the lead. There you can see the black vest there, New Zealand in second place, Germany on the far side. But the reason why there's so much noise, all the Canadian fans underneath us are going crackers, because Kevin Light and Malcolm Howard are coming through from absolutely nowhere to possibly get into a bronze medal position. There they are, right underneath you, and I think they're in bronze. Great Britain crossing the line in 6th place, but the Australians, oh so smooth.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it'd be sweet to beat the Kiwis, because the Kiwis haven't done the double. They haven't doubled up on their World Championship title, but these Australians are going to go on. I expect them to be in, well, definite gold contention in Beijing.
So Duncan Free and Drew Ginn keep the title down under, denying the defending champions. Nonetheless, a good race from them. Germany just blowing up at the top of your picture. The Canadians coming through to snatch a great bronze right away from China. So a second gold medal of the day for Australia.
It's my first gold medal at a World Champs, and it was great. So it's definitely the highlight of my career.
It's a lot of pride to actually be able to come and perform on the day, and Duncan and I have been sort of dreaming about this, I suppose, since 2004, so it's been 2 years in the making.
Yeah.